for fresh opportunities and new discoveries? The EU developed a new youth strategy and invites you to engage and become an active citizen, involved in democracy and society. Tell us what is important to you by taking part in the youth dialogue. The EU provides you with opportunities to connect with other young people across Europe and beyond. Benefit from youth exchanges offered by Erasmus+. Learn by travelling through Europe with Discover.eu. And take part in volunteering and solidarity projects with the European Solidarity Corps. The EU wants to empower you so that you develop useful life skills. Discover youth work, its development possibilities. The EU Youth Strategy is there for you. Engage, connect, empower. EU Youth Strategy. Fresh opportunities, new discoveries.
All right, good morning. I'm going to take the floor and start to open the curtains for this webinar today. So first of all, welcome everybody to this Skillman webinar today on youth policy partnerships. Again, for the ones who connected just now, as you see on your screens, first thing, the rules, the instructions. So we encourage all participants to keep their microphones muted for now, and also the cameras switched off. Thank you very much. So apart from this, feel free to send questions and comments. After the presentations will be made, there will be a question and answer section and some interactive activities. So that is the time for you to give contributions, sending questions and comments, clicking the button that you see around here, Q&A. So it should be around here, yeah. All right, so today's event is an official Skillman event on youth policy partnerships done in cooperation and partnership with the European Training Foundation. My name is Valentina De Vico. I am the communication manager of the Skillman team, and as many of you know, I'll be moderating today's event as we've been always done so far until now. As you know, and as we have seen from the motivations that usually push our attendees for registering to the Skillman webinars, we have understood that these webinars are actually a unique occasion for all of us for many reasons. First of all, because we get insights from international experts, then they are a big opportunity for all of us to network, to meet new people, and therefore to establish new partnerships. And also because with these webinars, we can be active with our contributions to the fast changing Tibet sector. Well, today we have one extra reason to be there, gathered today in this webinar. And that's because we want to officially launch the Skillman Youth Forum today. What is the Skillman Youth Forum? I'm just giving you a very general introduction because later our speakers will get more into that. It's an online space for discussion open to all youth organizations that we have created with the aim of debating about youth-related topics to pinpoint the challenges that youth organizations face nowadays, to find solutions, to create partnerships for future EU projects, to chat, to just ask for advice, to propose youth activities, to share knowledge, for peer learning. Well, all of these activities can be done in these Skillman Youth Forum. So as we have a pretty active hectic agenda today, let's have a look at the international speakers that will give their presentations later. So after my introduction, I will give the floor to Mr. Giovanni Crisona. Everybody knows Mr. Giovanni Crisona is the Skillman president, and he's going to give a welcome speech, and also he will draw the curtains down to the topic of the webinar. After him, we have Elena Romanini, who is the Skillman Youth Forum leader. So she will illustrate the main features of this Skillman Youth Forum that we're launching today officially now. After her presentation, we will have Manos Andreadis, the senior project manager of ASETEC in Greece, and also the program coordinator of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program in Greece. Then we will have not one, but two representatives from AER, the Assembly of European Regions. The first one is Andrés Muñoz Rojo, and is the coordinator of the Eurodyssey program. So here we'll give a short presentation about the Eurodyssey program, and after him, we will have in conclusion, Yasser El Koura, a trainee from the same program. After the presentations will be given, there will be a section of Q&A and also some interactive activities that we will see later. So again, we will have a lot of things happening today in this webinar, so I will get down right away with a very short overview of the Skillman network and the activities that we have designed and implemented so far. For those who are today attending this webinar and maybe they're asking themselves, so what am I doing here? Who are these people? Or what is going on here? So Skillman is a broad international network that actually comprises a very big group of stakeholders, including TVET providers, universities, individuals, research centers, policymakers, and universities. And basically the network represent the backbone around which the development and the exchange of skills take place. Now, it was created in 2014, and it started mainly in the advanced manufacturing sector. From now, a long time has passed, and the network actually has broadened up to many more sectors. And nowadays, it counts more than 550 active members in different continents and in 84 countries. And the network, it's expanding over time. And for us, it's a big achievement because it's becoming more and more active in the exchange of skills in the TVET sector. The network is actually, let's say, cooperating with a series of international organizations. As you see from the screen now, one of them is the Assembly of European Regions that we mentioned before, because we have two representatives speaking today at this event. Then IVETA, which is the International Vocational Education and Training Association. Then we have Cumulus, and last we have EABRIL, the European Association for Practitioners Research on Improving Learning. All these events that we have been implementing so far and that we will implement in the future are promoted and facilitated by those organizations, and they are done in cooperation with the European Training Foundation, as we mentioned earlier. Now, today's event is not an individual event. It's not just one single event. It's actually part of a series of webinars on EU fund opportunities that we have been designing with the objective of gathering and networking experts from all over the world, and set up fruitful and solid partnerships of people, of organizations that can come together and make project proposals for future European projects goals. So we have already implemented the capacity building in higher education webinar, then one on knowledge alliances in the maritime sector, then we had one on policymakers partnerships, and today is our youth policy partnerships. You can see all the materials from these events, the past events and the future events, on our official website. just a reminder, before giving the floor to the first speaker today, Giovanni Crisona, this event is live streamed on the official Skillman's website. So Skillman.eu/youth, and also on our official YouTube channel. So if you have any technical problems or you want to watch it live streaming, you can find it on this link as well. Again, for us, your feedback about the quality of this event is very, very important. I see that there's a lot of people already connected to this event. That makes us really, really proud. We wish to have your feedback on the quality of the event. So I am sharing with you now, but also Luca, my colleague, is sharing with you in the chat section right now, the link of the feedback form that we ask you to complete in order for us to have a feedback from you about the evaluation of this webinar. Last thing, as I mentioned earlier, after the presentations will be made, we will have an interactive section with a few word cloud activities. So just for you to get ready or ready for this section that will happen later, please join at Slido, which is this platform that we have for those activities, or alternatively, scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now with the access code YOUTH. With that, you'll be able to access the platform, and later we'll be making those activities together with you. But we will give more instructions about that later. Now it's time for me to give the floor to Mr. Giovanni Crisona, and with his welcome and presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Giovanni Crisona. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Valentina De Vico, for your outstanding introduction. I'm very well impressed every time that we improve so much the organization, and your introductions are fabulous because in few words you have represented our drive to connect and put together stakeholders and colleagues that are working in the same direction to rebuild education for the future. And our efforts seems to be not alone, because I see a lot of participants, attendees and panelists all focused to discuss and to give this contribution. Thank you very much to everybody, to our members and to invited participants that are not yet members, but I wish they will decide to become. My mandate was to answer to the question why we are here, why we are going through this initiative on youth policy partnership. And it was asked to me to do it in 2 minutes, but honestly it was impossible. So I have agreed with Elena to take a little bit longer in trying to synthesize, to compress all my thought in few words. I tried to reflect on this question, why, and I got in mind that we started 12 years ago with the financial crisis that is the biggest financial crisis that causes the greatest economic destruction ever seen in Europe, at least for during period of peace. And then we had a second recession, the Euro crisis, and the depression and deflation. And so now we were arriving to overcoming all these, and we got the explosion of the pandemic. So this is the context that I was thinking about to reflect on why we are here to discuss the youth policy partnership. And this pandemic afflicts not only the economy, but also the society as we have known it so far. It spreads uncertainty and blocks new employment, and also interrupt existing employments, and paralyze the consumptions and the investments. So in 2 words, as my preferred singer Vasco Rossi says, in few words, I say in 2 words, we have an uncertain future. So this is what is certain, is that we have an uncertain future, and we are here to discuss about it. Why? One reason is because we don't know the future now, even more than in the past, and we do not know when a vaccine will be discovered, and nor what will be the reality then. So our formal Italian formal president of the European Central Bank a few days gave in a speech a very clear equation that I have taken note, that subsidies will end, he says, and the lack of professional qualification will remain. So in this phrase, he addressed to us the problem, not only to the politicians that have to set the environment, to set the conditions, but how we can solve this lack of professional qualification in a future that is uncertain, that is totally unknown in this moment. It's very difficult to plan and to understand what it will be. We always discuss about the society of the future designing the curriculum of today, but in this condition, it's very, I think it's a mess. It's a very confusion and very difficult to understand. So we are all aware that the closure of the schools and other places of learning has interrupted professional and educational paths, and this has deepened inequalities. I think this is something that we can agree, and we need to ensure the access to education. This is the mandate. We see now how government are working on it. They are trying to adapt the school to something that can be not adapted because social distancing, disinfestations, systematic controls, check the temperature, new procedures, but we know that this cannot be designed in this way. This is just an attempt to adapt something that was already outdated to a situation that you don't know for the future. And my question is, should we agree that the ordinary elements of the educational systems as they are known now are totally unsuitable for the new needs of the pandemic era? And is there a real assumption by our politicians of responsibility in understanding that the role of the younger generations is designing tomorrow's society by talking about today's school? There is an understanding of this, that about this role that they have to play. When schools were still places of oppression and corporal punishment, Maria Montessori, with her pedagogy, overturned this concept by looking at schools full of happy children instead and opposite to children full of notions. This was over a century ago, in the beginning of the previous century. So a long time ago, she reversed the idea of the education. And I think that, and she was an eclectic intellectual. She was a scientist, a university lecturer. She was a philanthropist, and she was a feminist. And with the pandemic, we need now another Montessori vision. So pedagogy must be reversed again, adapted to new challenges, and we need to be holistic, digitalized, and we need to be fair. So this is the reason why we need to involve our young generations in this process, and the reason why the Skillman network is promoting the youth policy partnership. The reason why we need them to understand the new form of work and study and to contribute together with us to design the future. The school, as we have known it so far, in my opinion, is no longer suitable, and we must activate a universal movement to change it. So thank you very much, Elena, to have taken the leadership of this mandate. I think that we have an important role. All our members expect the best from you and the other colleagues. I think that we have all the conditions and the capacity to do it. So thank you very much. I'm very happy, very, very happy that you have set this wonderful occasion, and the Skillman Youth Forum will have long life and will bring us to important results involving our young generations in our debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Giovanni. Now, Elena, it's your turn now. If you want to introduce to us the Youth Forum. Elena, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Good morning to everybody. Thank you very much for your participation in our webinar of today, focused on the official launch of the Skillman Youth Forum. This is an initiative of the Skillman Global Network that is implemented under the framework of the European Youth Strategy. Next slide, please. Okay, so as you probably know, the European Youth Strategy is a reference strategy for innovation in the field of youth for all member states and not only. And the prior objective of the strategy is to boost and to foster active participation to democratic life, civic engagement of youngsters, all youngsters independently from their backgrounds, in order to have aware and active citizens. So the main objective of the strategy is embedded and summarized in these three keywords: engage, connect, and empower. So as regard engage, policymakers and stakeholders are asked to support and develop and facilitate new opportunities for learning to participate, attracting youngsters and helping them to learn how to participate and to adopt participatory approaches to the co-design of policies and opportunities for the development of communities and societies. As regards connect, the strategy assumes that active participation is only possible when we are members of networks and we are connected to other peoples for discussion and debate, for co-creation of opportunities. In these, digital tools can play a crucial role. So also thinking about new ways of connection, new ways of dialogue. We speak about e-democracy, e-participation. So this is an important asset to explore. As regards empower, we assume that only active participation is only possible when we are empowered. So youngsters have to act not only as beneficiaries of opportunities created and facilitated by others, stakeholders and policymakers and youth stakeholders, but they have to participate, to act as actors and co-creator of their lives and in the lives of their communities. So for a sustainable development. Next slide, please, Valentina. Thank you very much. So in these hard times, we have emerging challenges, global challenges. We can face together, cooperating also within the Skillman Youth Forum. The first one is that different ways and languages to participate are necessary. Recent researches, very interesting researches, by the way, show that young people tend to be scarcely involved in political life and political issues. So there is a lack of participation and they remain invisible. So there are forms of youth activism everywhere possible to recognize, but it's important to co-design and test and find together different ways of participation, unconventional, no traditional ways. So this gives us the possibility to involve all youngsters, to try to reach all youngsters, also the ones with fewer opportunities, so the so-called underrepresented. The hard time because of the COVID pandemic has become collaboration more and more important than ever. So the ways of finding new ways of relationships and collaboration are crucial also within the Skillman Youth Forum. Another challenge we can face together is the co-creation of innovative training opportunities, as suggested by Giovanni Crisona. Dialogue among youngsters and stakeholders is fundamental for innovation in education, for increasing the responsiveness of education systems at any level, and to increase the so-called resilience of youngsters, both as aware citizens and well-skilled workers for the future of tomorrow. So why is Skillman Youth Forum? Very briefly, for having a common space for open discussion about all key topics, youth-focused, for integrating the exchange expertise and knowledge, valorizing the multidimensional and multi-stakeholder dimension of Skillman network, to valorize cooperation, mutual learning and mutual improvement, and for adapting together a participatory approach to innovation in the field of youth. So next, what can we do together concretely? So joining the forum and animate the forum, identifying crucial youth-focused themes. Participate and cooperate in the co-design of a work plan for the realization of joint initiatives at local up to international level. So cooperation for realize online and on-site youth-focused events and initiatives, and also for cooperating in the realization of publication, recommendations, policy papers, and awareness campaign in order to attract also within the forum, enlarging the network, the reference network, policymakers, stakeholders, youth leaders, youth organizations at global level. So concretely, everyone can contribute to the forum. Firstly, every organization is asked to identify one youth leader. Then it's important to collaborate in every initiative that the forum will launch in the next month. Then it's always important to continuously share knowledge and expertise for mutual improvement and common growth. Then it's also important at different levels, from local up to international within our networks, to attract policymakers, youth-oriented, and stakeholders, increasing the visibility of the Skillman Youth Forum. And also, finally, it's also important to act as a Skillman Youth ambassadors for the realization of joint strategies and initiatives mainly related to the Skillman Youth Forum focus areas. So innovation in education, active participation, digital transformation, mobility, very important, and sustainable development. So once again, for joining the forum and collaborate together, we have prepared a workspace in Basecamp. So you can subscribe and access. You will find different rooms, discussion room for debate and contribution for next steps. The chat, we have a to-do list, a schedule, and also a repository for uploading every source is important, every document relevant for supporting our discussion and our dialogue. So finally, this is the landing page of our initiative. So you can find here further information and every updating for next steps. So explore our website and join the forum. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Elena, for your introduction of the Youth Forum. Later, we will get back to it because it's a very important initiative that we want to promote. So thank you very much, Elena. So just before giving the floor to Manos Andreadis with his presentation, we just want to remind everybody of the European Vocational Skills Week in November. And the Skillman is promotes, of course, with activities and other initiatives, this European Vocational Skills Week this year as well. So now I'm going to give the floor to Manos Andreadis, again, the project manager of ASETEC and the program coordinator of the program Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. Thank you, Manos. You have the floor now.
Good morning. Thank you, Valentina. Really glad to be part of this very interesting and useful initiative. My presentation has as a starting point what Mr. Crisona mentioned about the need for new education and training approaches in order to make education and training more efficient. It builds on Elena's presentation about the Skillman Youth Forum and the emphasis that we need to give, among other things, also to mobility. So my presentation is about the mobility schemes to engage, connect, and empower young people. Actually, the EU youth strategy, the second core area of action, which is about how to connect, recognizes that the young people are getting more and more connected. All these connections, relations, and exchange of experience are a basic asset for solidarity and development. And this connection is best fostered through different forms of mobility. Of course, mobility is something that runs a long time, many years now, and some examples are mobility schemes that are under Erasmus+, especially the KA1, the European Solidarity Corps, the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, which is the latest Erasmus program of the Erasmus generation mobility programs, and the virtual exchanges also, which are very important and are implemented also under Erasmus+. I will give you a more detailed presentation of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, just as an example also how a policy can approach mobility for specific groups and how this can be realized, and also what are the benefits are for the participants. So the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program is a cross-border exchange program which gives new or aspiring entrepreneurs the chance to learn from experienced entrepreneurs running small businesses in other participating countries. So the program identifies two categories of entrepreneurs: the new or young entrepreneurs firmly planning to set up their own business or have already started their own business during the last 3 years. On the other hand, we have the experienced entrepreneurs who own or manage a small or medium-sized enterprise in one of the participating countries. So the program foresees the young entrepreneur to move and go to the host entrepreneur, stay with him, and cooperate for a period of time from 1 to 6 months. This exchange is partially financed by the European Commission. The exchange of experience takes place during this stay and helps the young entrepreneur to acquire the skills needed to run his own firm. On the other hand, the host entrepreneur benefits from fresh perspectives on his own business and gets the opportunity to cooperate with foreign partners or learn about new markets. Of course, it is very easy to understand that this is a very fruitful mobility scheme, as it has mutual benefits for both the young entrepreneur and the host entrepreneur, offering new horizons, new contacts and opportunities, and new ideas. I will not go longer to the technical details of this program. Further information can be identified in the official Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs portal, which is www.erasmusforentrepreneurs.eu. There is, from my experience, also attending the other webinars that are organized under the Skillman network. There is a frequent question from other participating countries from Asia, Africa, America, if all these programs are only for European Union countries. So Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs has a new dimension in the recent years, a more global dimension, as it gives the opportunity to have exchanges also to 2 states from United States of America, New York and Pennsylvania, also Israel and Singapore, while with the recent call, there is a potential expansion to Canada, South Korea, Taiwan, and other states from United States of America. So this gives the idea that mobility becomes more and more not only within European Union, but also a more global topic. Now, coming back to Skillman Youth Forum, it is very important to see that mobility should be one of the topics to consider to develop partnerships. Some things that we need to have in mind and to have as a basis of our discussion should be, of course, the European Youth Strategy, the renewed European Youth Strategy for 2019 to 2027. Best practices that we have identified under the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, which give a very valuable feedback and ideas for further action. Of course, the youth reflections, because they are going to be the main beneficiaries, they are the main target group of our forum, so their representation and their contribution is very important in order to have sustainable ideas and results. Also, everything has to be, we have to take into consideration the European Youth Goals, the 11 European Youth Goals which are identified, and just indicatively, I will refer to inclusive societies, rural youth, and green Europe, which are main topics that we have to consider. And finally, of course, it is very important to have your ideas, all participants' ideas, and this is what makes the Youth Forum very important, as this will consist a continuous framework for dialogue and continuous development. Respecting the 10 minutes allocated to me, I think I managed with the time. I remain at your disposal for any further information. Thank you very much.
Well done, Manos. Thank you very much for your presentation. Yes, you're right. We're running a little back of time, but it's fine. I will give the floor directly to our next presenters. Just a very quick reminder of the Skillman International Youth Forum that's going to take place the 10th and 11th of December 2020. So at the end of this year. Now, next presenter, Mr. Andrés Muñoz Rojo. I hope I pronounced it well. The representative from AR and the coordinator of the Eurodyssey program. Thank you, Andrés. It's your turn now to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. And actually, you pronounced very well my name. Thank you. So as Valentina was saying, well, I'm very pleased to be here, first of all, in the name of AR to present our work in terms of youth policy partnerships. So I work for the Assembly of European Regions, which is an extensive network of regions promoting cooperation since 1985. For today's presentation, I'm going to feature Eurodyssey, our youth mobility program, as a good practice of interregional cooperation in the promotion of youth inclusion. Next slide. So this is a picture of the 3 programs that I'm in charge of. What they have in common, of course, is youth policies. This is our youth sector. And these 3 programs are designed to meet the 3 core areas of youth work, youth mobility, youth participation, and youth empowerment. So Eurodyssey is already covering the youth mobility pillar. Then we have the Youth Regional Network program, which is promoting the participation of regional youth councils from all over Europe, from the wider Europe, to become more prominent in the international European arena. And the last one is the Summer Academy, which is an international forum bringing together regional officials, policymakers, and young activists in a non-formal education scheme. So next slide. But I'm going to focus on Eurodyssey, which is our youth mobility flagship program. created in 1985. We usually say that it is one of the pioneers of mobility in Europe, considering that Erasmus was launched in 1987. So next, just I would like to outline the main features of Eurodyssey. So what makes Eurodyssey special? AR is fully committed to promoting fair mobility, and the program is well designed to be inclusive and fair. But how do we do it? Eurodyssey is a win-win-win for the stakeholders. So the region can deliver on a strategic policy areas, education, employment, inclusion. Of course, the young people benefits from an integral experience, because it's not only the international work experience, but also the linguistic training, getting immersed in the culture of the destination region, etc. And the third actor, the companies, the hosting companies, who can harness the potential of young qualified workers from other regions of the program. But Eurodyssey is also autonomy and flexibility. It is a decentralized program managed directly by the regions, not by the national authorities, which gives a lot of flexibility to the regions to select the sectors and the companies that can benefit most from the mobility exchanges. But also Eurodyssey offers tailor-made internships by targeting not only young graduates, but also less qualified young people. So this is our conception of fair mobility: housing, offering housing, professional experience, cultural linguistic experience, and developing the sense of EU citizenship, which is an important aspect of European integration. So next, please. So this is just the map of the Eurodyssey regions. So this year we have 23 active regions. Of course, unfortunately and sadly, with the pandemic, we had to stop the mobility exchanges. But now a few regions are back to the activity. So we have regions from Spain, Catalonia, Valencia, Murcia, some regions from northern Romania, Croatia regions, the Belgian regions of Brussels capital, Wallonia, French regions, the Portuguese islands, Corsica and Sardinia, and also some non-EU regions such as Adjara in Georgia and Vojvodina in Serbia. Next slide. I also would like to talk about the challenges we face with our member regions. First of all, to overturn, when talking about mobility, to overturn the false narrative surrounding mobility. Usually mobility is perceived by the regional and local politicians as a soft policy, rather than a long-term investment that can contribute to regional development. And then we have to differentiate between brain drain and mobility, labor mobility. In my view, brain drain does not stem from labor mobility. The actual driver of youth emigration is the lack of opportunities and the poor diversification of the economic activity in a given territory. So this is why we believe it is important to deliver and develop qualitative and quantitative methods to measure the results of mobility, to showcase the benefits, also the recognition of the transversal competencies and soft skills gained within mobility schemes. Of course, communicating on the testimonials to showcase those benefits. And the major challenge right now is adapting the exchanges to the COVID-19 situation with the blended mobility, because of course mobility can only happen if there is on-site experience. So next slide. And of course, I'm not going to give a lot of details or data about the impacts of COVID-19 on youth development. So it's not only about youth unemployment, that young people are being hit the hardest by the crisis, but it also has implications in terms of mental well-being, as you can observe in the chart by Eurostat. So the age group between 18 and 34 years old are more affected by depression, mental health issues, difficulties to cope with loneliness and the confinement situation, but also the COVID-19 is diminishing the trust of young people in media, in the EU, in the government, and the security forces. Next slide. So, yeah, please, next slide, Valentina. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, just that there is a little, no, that, let's go back to the other, it's my internet connection. So this is to say, in this context, it is more important than ever to invest in youth policies. Mobility is not the panacea, but can be an effective instrument worth to invest in amongst other active labor policies to pave the way for young people to integrate into the working life. If we ensure fair conditions for mobility, it can be a transformative tool for social inclusion. We can educate on democratic values. We can develop the sense of the European identity, foster tolerance, and most importantly, to bring the rural and urban worlds closer. And the last slide, just to say that mobility can effectively deliver on at least six out of the 11 European youth goals: connecting EU with youth, inclusive societies, moving rural youth forward, quality employment, quality learning, etc. So this is it from my side. And now my colleague Jasser is going to give just a few results of the program. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andres. Thank you for your contribution and your presentation. Just right before giving the floor to Yasser, I would like to just thank all the participants to attend today's webinar. We really value your presence here. I just want to mention a few for being with us today. Alexander Oriordan from Denmark, representing Microsoft Western Europe. Then Santiago Roberto Bertoglia from Argentina. Thank you very much for being with us. Ali Sidhold from South Africa, Soweto, South Africa, and Rasim Zeynalov from Azerbaijan. Thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate your presence with us today. Yasser, it's your turn. If you want to move on with your presentation, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. First of all, let me thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very pleased to be here and to be part in this webinar. So I will try to be very short and give you a brief picture on the findings and statistics collected within Eurodyssey. As indeed, the AR Secretariat is every year is elaborating a statistical report to evaluate and assess the developments of the program. This year, to assess more accurately the impact on employability of Eurodyssey on the employability of former participants, we launched a new survey to all the 2018 former participants. 41% of them pertaining to 14 different regions, they participate in the survey. And the result is showing that Eurodyssey has a good impact on employment. As you can see from the chart, 64% found work after the program within 4 months. And even more better, 40% found it within 1 month. And for the not employed group, if we exclude the participants who entered formal education or vocational training, then the percentage of those who doesn't find a work, it's only 15%. So this is it shows that Eurodyssey has a good impact on employment. Next slide, please. This year is also to assess like the inclusiveness of the program. We asked the survey respondents about their situation before Eurodyssey. Then we select the group of needs and unemployed respondents, and we assess their grade of integration into the labor market after Eurodyssey. Just to be clear, the needs are all the people who are not in employment, education, or training. What we observed is that Eurodyssey was able to reduce the number of NEETs and unemployed in 2018 from 39% before the program to 17% after the program. And indeed, within this group of NEETs and unemployed, 56% found work within 4 months after Eurodyssey, which confirms that Eurodyssey has a great potential in terms of inclusiveness. Next slide, please. And lastly, we asked directly for feedback from the survey respondents on their impression about the program and if it was able to help them to find a job. And 70% confirmed that Eurodyssey was decisive in finding a job, and 70% they attributed such fact to the language training they received. So to wrap up, I think that mobility can be really considered as a concrete tool to engage, connect, and empower young people, and it deserves much more attention from politics. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope I was enough clear. And if there are any questions, me and Andres, we remain available to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yasser. You were very concise and very clear. Thank you for your presentation. As you see, we have some minutes left, so I'm just going to move on to the interactive section of this webinar. I'm just going to give everybody the time to connect to our platform Slido with the access code youth, or alternatively just scan the QR code that you see on your screen, so we connect to this interactive page. Just giving the time to everybody to access the page, I would like to emphasize the participation today. We have really high numbers. Thank you very much for attending the webinar with us today, and the geographical coverage is outstanding, I would say. We have participants from all over the world. Just to mention a few names, we have Mustafa Ildiz from Turkey. Thank you very much for being with us. Deeplab Bikash Polkronkondi from Bangladesh. I'm sorry, my pronunciation is really bad. Andrea Livingston Prince from Jamaica. Thank you very much. Nasir Ahmad from Afghanistan, Nancy Dratkoti from Albania. So just to mention a few ones and to give everybody the impression that we have a very broad coverage from our attendees today. So in the email that we sent before the webinar with the instructions to join and to participate to the webinar, we have also asked all the participants to write down some keywords just to start off with the next step of collaborating together in this youth forum platform. So I would like to comment together with Elena Romanini the answers and the results that we got from our participants of today's meeting. These are just a few keywords that we have taken out from the results of the participants on the question, what are the main keywords related to youth policies? Why do we want to start from the keywords? Because we believe that this is the groundwork, the basis to set up a groundwork to work together for the following steps. So as you see from your screen now, we have employment. That is the biggest word we have. That means that it was chosen the most times from our participants to this poll. Then we have empowerment, peer learning, of course. Mobility is another keyword that we see very, very often in this circumstance. Training, promotion, education, engagement. Yes, of course, engagement from all the from youngsters from all over the world. Engage, connect, and empower, says someone else. Of course, engage, connect, and empower are keywords to start off with our brainstorming and discussion from the next steps, development and training. And then we have some smaller words that were cited by some of the participants: attractiveness, education and learning, employment, gender equality. These are very important keywords, and I hope we can go deeper into these these topics, of course. Personality, innovation, well, we have many words. I just wanted to share with you the first results that we got. Now I think we can move on to do one interactive activity. So let's do, if we agree, one word cloud together. So as I gave some time to everybody to access the platform, as I said, so we are going to see if anyone wants to add some other keywords to the poll. What are the main keywords related to youth policies? And if we don't have, let's just give a few minutes, and then we can move to the next word cloud, which is a new word cloud that we're launching today with everybody in the audience. Elena, do you want to join me into commenting the keywords?
Yeah, so thank you. Just on your comment, looking at these keywords, the first impression is also that inclusiveness is a very crucial dimension, cross-cutting dimension. So it's also important to continue our further debate, thinking about inclusiveness as a very crucial topic, youth-related crucial topic. So anyway, we will post everything on the Skillman Youth Forum. So it's important to subscribe and to assess the workspace, the shared workspace as previously
Exactly,
presented.
Elena. That's a very good mention because all the questions and comments that you will write down in the Q&A button down here somewhere, they will be all answered and given back to you with answers on the youth forum itself. So please subscribe. Later we will give all the instructions in the follow-up as well. So you will have all the information to join the forum. Shall we move on to the next poll and do
yes,
it together?
Please. Yes.
Okay. So this is a new poll. Go on, Elena, your pleasure.
So what are your expectations for the Skillman Youth Forum? Your feedback is very important in order to realize something tailor-made regarding our needs, our expectation, and to make fruitful and efficient our cooperation. So please, you have some seconds for voting in order to give us suggestions and important inputs.
Just to remind all of you that you have to access the platform slido.com and with the access code youth. So this is live, so we're actually seeing together with all of you the results of this poll. We just opened it, so we didn't have any contributions yet so far. We just wanted to do this activity together with all of you today at this webinar. So we see that the first answers are showing up in the screen. Elena, we have intercultural learning.
Yeah, so this is also very important because, we can see also today a very wide panel of participants coming from different countries and from different areas worldwide. So we have to focus our discussion not only, of course, related to Europe and European member states, but also behind, as the European strategy suggests, also to policymakers and stakeholders. So a particular attention can be, of course, paid to this intercultural learning for youth innovation. So international cooperation, of course, is related to intercultural learning in a sense of thinking about the spectrum of the countries and the type of organizations involved today, also starting from this first webinar. So engagement, participation, once again, to expand the partnership more deeply, collaboration and trainings, joint efforts. Yes, of course, one of the main objectives of the forum is presented is to joint efforts for joint strategies and more effective also initiatives. Yes, able also to change and to innovate.
Okay, Elena, I think we got 3 keywords that stand out: future, vision, and international cooperation. Stand out bigger than the rest. Unfortunately, we have to move on to the next poll because we have a few minutes to wrap up. So if you agree, Elena, I would go on.
Yeah, please.
Okay. This is the next poll. Again, the same instructions, the same platform. If you're already connected, you'll be able to see this new poll to answer the question, what kind of contributions can you give? Do you think your organization can give to the Skillman Youth Forum? So we have this new Youth Forum platform. We have introduced the main features. We have started to understand the objectives of the platform. But it's important for us to understand from all of you, what do you think is the contribution that you can give to the Youth Forum? Again, a few keywords are important just to start off with the next collaboration. Again, everything is live, so all the answers are going to show in our screens as soon as the participants will answer with keywords to this word cloud. So yes, Elena, we're seeing the first ones to populate the screen right now. Again.
So active partnership, source of the collaboration and practices. Yes, the knowledge sharing process is at the basis of the forum for a successful initiative. So we will cooperate together online in order to give concrete answer to these expectations. So every contribution is appreciated, of course. And this is also the spirit of the forum. So we are perfectly in line to proceed for next steps.
Okay.
Also, host experts are very important because we are enlarging, we are widening our experts network. So it's also one important suggestion to valorize the cooperation.
Okay, a lot of answerings are coming up in the screen. It's really a shame. We will replicate soon on the youth forum directly. I would suggest, Elena, what do you think?
Yes, of course. It's a starting point, so we can valorize this first contribution and meet us in the forum.
Okay, I will leave this poll open so that all the participants can continue to give the contributions and insert their keywords on the contribution they can give to the Skillman Youth Forum. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up with today's webinar because the time is already up. So we are going back to the main presentation, giving a reminder to everybody to that today's webinar is streamed live on our official website, skillman.eu/youth, and also on our official YouTube account, Skillman YouTube account. Again, my friend and colleague Luca is going to share with you the link of the feedback form. We see that today we had a lot of attendees. Thank you very much for attending. We evaluate very deeply your feedback and your evaluation of this webinar and the quality of the webinar. So please take just a few minutes. It's going to be very quick to complete the feedback form that my colleague Luca is sharing with you in the chat box. To wrap up the webinar today, I invite all of you present today to join the Skillman Youth Forum. We're going to share the link to subscribe in a follow-up email after this webinar, so everybody has the information and instructions to join. We have this platform that it will be very important for all of us to get together, to establish partnerships, to start with debate and discussions on different topics related to youth. So please join us on this initiative. The Skillman Youth Forum is officially launched as from today. And again, we have a landing page of this initiative where you can have more information and an amazing, outstanding video from Elena Romanini, as you see here. She invites all of you to join the forum. So please, feel free to visit our official page, Skillman.eu, Skillman Youth Forum. I guess that would be it for today. I thank you all very much for attending today's webinar on youth policy partnerships. Again, this webinar is an official Skillman webinar organized in collaboration with ETF. Thank you very much for attending. I will just close this webinar with by launching one poll. This poll is a very simple question. We thought that it would be a good initiative to release an attendance certificate. So I just launched the poll. So every one of you who wishes to have an attendance certificate for participating to this event, it will be released and sent to all those who requested it. So please click yes if you wish to receive an attendance certificate, or no if you don't want it. Just a few seconds more for the attendees to reply to the poll. Again, this is a certificate of attendance to these webinars. So if you wish to receive it, please click yes on the small window that you see on the platform right now. If you don't want to receive it, just click no. It's fine, no problem. We will release the certificates to all those who requested. So I see that people are still responding to the poll. Just a few seconds more. Thank you to all the panelists, all the speakers who gave their contributions today and introduced different youth-oriented programs. Thank you, Manus, for sharing with us the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. Thank you, Andres and Yassad, to share with us insights about the Eurodyssey program, a very interesting program. Elena Romanini, the Queen, thank you very much for showing us the features of this Skillman Youth Forum. All the materials of these presentations and everything related to this webinar will be updated on our channels, but a follow-up email will follow this event. So don't worry, we will give all the instructions to all of you. I think we can wrap up the webinar. Thank you very much for attending. I wish you all a very delightful day, and I'll see you at our next event. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.